Okay everyone, this is the first of 5 videos. Hopefully you'll think this is worthwhile. I'm going to try and make sure each video only takes 5 minutes, so there really are no excuses for this. Okay, so I'm going to start off with circular flow diagram with injections and leakages. So whenever you start off your circular flow diagram, to be honest, you'll never really have to draw this in the exam, I don't think, but it's just a really important thing to know. So you put households, don't go away. You put households at the top. Okay, and then at the bottom you put firms. And they're connected in 2 ways. So, that's how you spell firms. There we are. So, you just do a little thing like that and a little thing like that. And you can have an arrow there and an arrow there. So, how do households give money to firms? They do this by buying goods and services. And how do firms then give their money back to households? They do it by paying wages. So, the idea of the circular flow is this money is going round and round and round and round. But the problem is sometimes money can leak out of the economy. So households, instead of doing what they're doing now, and I'll put a red for leaking out, they can instead save their money. So if they save their money, that means they're not going to spend any money on firms, which means firms won't have enough money then to pay wages for other households. Okay, there's another leakage for households. Right, the second way money can go out is if they also get taxed. Now, this can be both households and firms, but if taxes go up, this means households or firms will not have as much money, so there'll be less money going around the circular flow. Right, the third way that you can say that money could go out the economy is if households buy imports, or firms, to be honest. So basically, as long as the firms, households buying imports, the money's going abroad, so that means there's money going out of our circular flow. But at the same time as there being leakages sometimes, there are sometimes injections into the economy. And these are basically the opposite of the other 3. So one injection could be exports. So as soon as any people from abroad buy our exports, that's going to add money to the circular flow. A second thing is, what's the second thing? Don't go away. Okay, that's a good one. Government spending. Because government spending is part of AD, if government spending goes up, say, for example, government might spend money on benefits, which means households would have more money, which means they could buy more stuff from firms, which means therefore firms could therefore go and give more money to households by giving them jobs. Right, one more injection is investment, and we put it down here. So if firms invest, this means they might need more jobs. And if they need more jobs, they'll give more money to households. This means households will have more money, and therefore they'll buy more stuff from the firms. So it keeps on going around that circular flow. The key thing is you want to have as many injections into the circular flow and not too many leakages. Okay, let's go out from that. Whoops, sorry. The next bit is government main macroeconomic objectives. Right, the thing is, whenever they ask this in the exam, loads of people don't get it. I don't understand why you don't get it. Because you know this, it is just TIGER. So it is trade balance. That's the first thing. The government are trying to get a trade balance. That means they're trying to make imports equal exports. The problem the UK have at the minute is we've got a deficit on our balance of payments, which is basically our trade balance. This means we are exporting more than we are importing. Okay, the second one is the I, which is inflation. But just remember with inflation, we've actually got a target for inflation. Don't just say we want to have keep inflation low. Say there's a target is 2%. So as long as the inflation stays around about 2%, within 1 percentage point of 2%, then the government are happy. At the minute, inflation is 1%, so the government is still happy. Right, the next one is growth. Remember, this is going into TIGER, so this is a G of TIGER. Right, don't just say growth in the exam. You've got to say is sustainable. I can't say it. Sustainable growth. That just means if you grow too fast, that means demand will go way too high in your economy. And if demand's going way too high, supply might not be able to keep up, and that can cause inflation. Right, the next one is employment. I've gone with pink here, nice. So the key thing is you want to get as many people employed as possible in the economy. You want as many people helping the economy out by paying taxes and things like that. But the UK at the minute has got 6% unemployment, which is tiny. That's a really low amount. But the problem is for the UK at the minute is lots of these people who are employed have got low-paying jobs. So if you're not getting paid much money, you can't pay much tax, which means the government aren't getting as much tax in as they thought. And just for the minute, this last one, just call it the rest, because I'm not really that bothered about it for the minute. Okay, so that is the main macroeconomic objectives. Right, going on to the next bit. Where am I going to go next? Okay, here we go. Can't decide where to go. Right, I'm going here first. Okay, so aggregate demand. It consists of C plus I plus G plus X minus M. Sorry for that ridiculous colour. I shouldn't have gone with that. Right, I'm going blue now. So C plus I plus G plus X minus M. Remember, M is a minus. So imports. If imports go up, I've got to stop using these stupid colours. What's that? Black. Okay. If imports go up, it's actually bad for our aggregate demand. Okay. The C stands for consumption. The I stands for investment. The G stands for government spending, and the X minus M stands for exports minus imports. Now remember, investment is spending by firms on capital goods. Okay, right. 3 main factors that affect consumption. All you've got to say is interest rates. So if interest rates go up, consumption will go down because people will spend less using credit cards. They'll save more, and also their mortgage interest repayments will go up, so they'll have less disposable income. Right, the second one is, I can't spell disposable. Disposable. Okay, there we are. So disposable income. So if people's disposable income goes up, they're more likely to buy stuff. Now, disposable income can be affected by a few things. This is things like the tax rate, what benefits are like, and also what wage rates are like. At the minute, people's income are actually increasing a little bit in the UK, which is very good, because the more it's increasing, the more money people will have, so they'll spend more. Right, the third one I always say is asset prices. And one of the big asset prices is house prices. So if house prices go up, another asset, by the way, is share prices. But anyway, if house prices go up, people will feel more, keyword here, they'll feel more wealthy. And if they feel more wealthy, they're more likely to spend, so AD will go up. Right, on to the second one. 3 main factors that affect investment. This is really easy. Investment, remember, is spending by firms on capital goods. So the first thing that will affect it would be interest rates again. The second one is AD. If AD goes up, then firms are more likely to want to invest, because it's simple. If a firm is at this point on its PPF, like right on the edge, if demand goes up, the only way they can meet that demand is by investing and making more stuff, and having more machinery and things like that. But the third one is corporation tax. And the UK have been reducing their corporation tax again and again and again. It used to be 28%. They're reducing it down and down to try and make firms pay less tax, which means they're more likely to invest. Right, okay, so I lied when I said this would be 5 minutes, but I reckon I'll get it under 10. So, very quickly, what are the factors that will shift AD? Same again, it's C plus I plus G plus X minus M. Right, AD curve. Never draw the AD curve on its own. If you're drawing the AD curve, I'll do a curve EAS, and I'll just have AD here, call that AD1, and then the next one, that means AD's gone up. Right, just to do some dotted lines, I'm going to change colour, go for red. Right, do not forget to do your dotted lines, that's P1, Y1. The Y stands for income, that's Y2, and then this is P2, that's price 2. Remember, on my one, you've got to put price level here, and you've got to put real GDP. The reason why it's called real is because it takes into account inflation. Okay, the next bit says, why does the AD curve slope downwards? And it's just basically that if the price level goes from here, so the price level goes low, and then the price level goes up, demand is obviously going to go down. And that's just basically it. But don't really worry about that. It's not really in the course. Okay, so the next bit, very quickly, I've actually already said this kind of. Explain why changing interest rates will affect consumption. It's just 3 things you say. People will spend. So say interest rates went up. People will spend less using credit cards or loans. And all this means is, if interest rates are high, there's no reason to take out a loan, because you're going to end up having to pay loads more money back, so you're not going to want to do it. The second thing is you might save your money, because if you leave your money in the bank, you'll get a high interest rate, so that means you don't want to spend. And the third thing is your mortgage, I think it's mortgage, isn't it? Interest, repayments, go down, they go up. So if interest rates go up by 2% for me, I'll end up having to pay about another £400 per month on my mortgage, which means I'll have no money and I'll be absolutely gutted. And obviously I won't be able to spend as much on the things I like spending money on. So, where's the last bit? Grand finale now. Okay, 3 sections of government spending. There is capital spending. There's another video on this, by the way, if you don't know this one. And this is spending on big investment projects. There is current spending, and this they call day-to-day spending. And this is basically spending on things like, what's that spending? Things like, teachers' wages and nurses' wages, and things like pens and pencils in schools. And then finally, there's things called transfer payments. And you can think about things like benefits for that. Right, final bit, factors that affect exports and imports. So if the UK end up getting a strong pound, you write spiced, which means, imports will become cheap. I've got to not use that colour. And exports will become dear. Right, if imports are cheap, we're going to end up buying loads of imports. And if exports are dear, no one's going to be buying our goods. So that would actually mean that we'd end up getting a bad trade balance. We'd be not exporting enough and importing too much. Right, a second factor that can affect it is the quality of UK goods. So if UK goods aren't very good quality, no one's going to buy them, and therefore we're going to be bad on our exports. The final one is the reason why the UK have got a really bad with manufacturing goods is because we've got a really high labour cost. This is because we've got a high minimum wage. Right, I've done that in 12 minutes. I'm sorry it took too long. I hope it's useful. You need to make sure that what I've just told you, you can write out yourself completely without any help. And then you'll have got that first page sorted.